we go. There's sound now. Alright, so this is just something that gets super annoying after a while if you're working on a computer for 40 hours a week. So it's still early in the morning, but I figured I might as well record this because then I can just go back to this if I ever forget. And I've seen stuff that you can Google for it, but I figured if I do it once, I might as well do it where other people can use it too. So this was me. I'm trying to change. The problem is I'm constantly navigating to these few folders for different things, and beforehand these would all look the same even though they're very different. You know, one is clearly for hockey. I've got 3 that are the same of rise and fall because I have 3 branches that I can switch between. So if programmers are working on different branches, I can just switch to them and see the code that they're actually working on as opposed to them just showing me. And this is just like little things that I don't know if Windows fixed in Windows 11, but I've found like really annoying. There's a bunch of things just to go over it. So the first thing that I've done is these are a lot easier to read, and the shadows are a lot thicker, and the font is a lot wider, so it takes less effort on your eyes to go through. So if I go to, oh, there it is, Mac font type tray. If I disable that, see how that kind of like the thickness of the text almost goes into like the background, and you kind of, for me, I have to kind of squint to read that, and it already makes me like tired looking at it. But if I turn that back on, then it's just easier to read. And so this is a little extension called Mac type tray, and it's just something that you get and you install. And I think the setting that I have is just default. I haven't done anything fancy with it. And that makes a big, big difference. I have a thing called smooth scroll, and apparently it's off. I should turn that back on. I think I had it turned off because in Unity it will mess up the scrolling of, if you're doing shaders, it will zoom it in like way too much. But basically this, I think it costs like $10 a year, and you can use it on as many devices as you want. And this will auto start. It works. There's a Chrome extension, but the better version is to use this because obviously this has like administrator privileges and stuff like that. These are the settings that I have that make scrolling feel like, let's just open up Twitter for a second. So what I'm trying to do is get the closest on this mouse, if I can show you, this Razer Death Adder Elite. Coming over from Mac, what you really miss is the inertial scrolling that comes from flicking. So obviously it takes the location of, you know, where your fingers are, and if I scroll a little bit, it translates that almost perfectly, so that it feels like you're actually touching the screen. And so if I flick it really hard, I can flick it down. And if I flick it just a little bit, I can move it in like very, very precise increments. And that is part of why using a Mac feels so good, especially with a touchpad. So if I turn this off, it will move in a very jagged increment. If I do mouse settings on here, so I have cursor speed, scroll multiple lines at a time, additional mouse options. Actually, this is really good to do because, yeah, if this gets reset, and I've probably already done this like 3 or 4 times because I did it at the school PC, my laptop, and then my PC when I had to reset it. And I just like I can't even use the thing without getting frustrated because it feels so bad. So pointers haven't changed that. Although I did change the mouse to black with a big arrow and made it a little bit bigger, just so that on the 24-inch screen it's like easier to see and to spot, and it's more like the feeling of a Mac. And obviously, Windows has better control. Like what's the saying? On Mac, everything works, but you can't fix it. And then on Mac, nothing, or on PC, nothing works, but you can fix it. And Linux, it was something about something, but I never used Linux, so it never really mattered for me to remember. All these icons are fine. Pointer shadow. That may actually, let's apply that. That may add a little bit of depth too. So changing the pointer size, I guess, like this doesn't even show increments, but I also wish that it had with Mac, which is really nice, is that if you can't find the mouse, you can shake it, and it'll make it bigger. To touch points darker. Yeah. Okay, so going back. Yeah, hopefully they fix this in Windows 11 because it's just little things that start to drive you crazy after a while. So how many lines to scroll? I guess that's one notch over. And buttons, pointers, pointer options. I'm guessing like that would be nice if it was numbered. To remember, enhanced pointer precision is on. To default box in the dialog box. I don't need trails. Hide pointer while typing doesn't really matter. So location, that would be nice to turn on actually. Apply. Let me see. I don't actually see any difference. Maybe that is for touch, but scrolling the wheel, so you've got vertical scrolling, horizontal scrolling. I have them set to 3. Now, I set all of this stuff up like a year ago, if not longer ago. Well, no. I reset this up back like last March. So almost a year. And so Death Adder Elite, then this is a Razer product, so obviously you get mouse, and I've got a Chrome default setup, and I've just got the scrolling reversed so that it is more like you're touching the thing and you're scrolling down as opposed to the way Windows has it. So that makes it a lot easier. And then I have a set of profiles that change the lighting based on objects so that my keyboard right now is like a nice comfortable blue. But if I go into a shooter, I don't know if it'll change for that. I may have to, I think I have a key that changes it. Yes. So that just brings it back to normal blue. And then at another point, I had, even that is, I really like the way they do it on Mac because it's just a little bit simpler where lighting is tied to profiles, whereas this lets you change profiles but also change the lighting separately, which like is technically better, but you've got to be changing it normal blue. And then if I go shooters, now the keyboard is set up where, WASD is yellow and the buttons beside are different, the spacebar is different, and actually, pretty sure if I press space, yeah, it flashes white. So, in a pinch, I've got 1, 2, 3 as the Destiny, white, green, purple, and it just makes it easier out of the corner of your eye to help you find the W key and find the weapon change keys when you need them. And then I'm pretty sure these, if I go to shooters, yep. So numlock will move it back. There's a better way I could do this, but I essentially tried to get a button that I never use, like numlock and the second tab, as things that could switch if the profiles don't change over. And so let me go back to, I just call it Chrome because it's based around Chrome. It should just be called like default or something now that I think about it. But that's really, really nice for just about any game to be able to see, you know, out of the corner of your eye that you are on the W and you can see those purples and orient yourself. So go lighting, go back to normal blue. That's like a 50% blue, so it's not like distracting, but it's enough that all the keys are like lit up and everything. And this is a Razer Chroma Ornata, the first version that was like 90 bucks. That's really, really good because it's got, you know, if I go into Studio, um, all of my devices I can set profiles for. So which profile are we editing here? If we go shooters, you know, I can set these and you have basically like a static layer, which is just what they look like normally, and then reactive. So all of these buttons flash white when you press them, just to make them feel a little bit better when you press them. And I've used this for sports code when I'm marking games in hockey, where I can set up, I don't even know if there is a profile on here because this is PC and sports code is Mac only, but I've set up like on here 1, 2, 3, like all the way down on the keys. You can, all the players, like the 4 lines of forwards, the 3 lines of D, shots, goals. See how much, I could probably set up a special camera for that. Scoring chances for and against A's and B's. Possession changes, B and N or N and M. And then, oh no, those are breakouts. Breakout for, breakout against, turnover, turnover, and then takeaway, hit, power play, penalty, kill. It's that'll show when I actually have the profile because it doesn't really make sense just showing. But there's that. There's smooth scroll. Going back to that, so it's it very much feels like there's a lot of like friction as you're pushing it, and until I had setups. The other problem that I was running into is on my laptop, which is just over there and is being the streaming device. I can't even really see over there, but that laptop, the the, the scrolling on the pad just felt so bad that it felt like I press, no matter what I press, it moves it like in the same interval. That I mainly made it for that because the I needed a laptop so that I wouldn't just be glued to this computer. And the closest that I could get, it had to be a PC because I can't be making games on a Mac because that would just be impossible to. If it's being made for Steam for PC, it would just be impossible to do anything, you know, trying to emulate, like, I'd be running a Parallels or a Boot Camp, but the connections, like, there's just too many problems that could come up because it's not being used on the system that it's actually being made for. And there's like input, um, there's like different ways that Mac and Windows handle input that we ran into a bunch of problems with when we were making our game. So for that, I have smooth scroll for that. I have a special filter on the screen that maybe I'll go through and show because the screen just was way too reflective. If you turn the screen off and it's completely black and you look at how, like, a good screen that's good on your eyes should just be matte. It should just be black and you should just see black, like this screen, this monitor has. Whereas this monitor has a lot of reflectiveness on it. If I turn it off, you'll like clearly be able to see yourself. Whereas the MacBook Pro that I have has a piece of glass on it, but doesn't reflect and like doesn't have the same like glare or whatever it is just better on my eyes, where I can look at that. And when I first got that Razer Blade 15-inch, I couldn't even use it because it was hurting my eyes so much. The keyboard's very close to Mac. It's got good ports on it, and it like mostly looks like a Mac. It's like a good size. The battery is like not very good, but 2 storage slots, and yeah, I eventually need to replace the battery because it's only like 2 hours, but it's 144 refresh rate screen, which was just like part of it actually really, really nice. It's not like I use the screen for gaming, but it just makes it very smooth. So yeah, this is like the very clunky smooth scroll. And if I go ahead and turn this back on, see how it's kind of a much more smooth glide. Now, it doesn't have the recognition where if I were to push really hard, it would move a lot. And I played around with these settings a lot to see if I could find a happy medium where I got the big scroll and the little scroll. And I couldn't. And so I decided on, like, I would much rather be able to scroll in little steps. And then if I need to, like, do this. So it's almost there with that. So I have smooth scroll for this. I have this for here. Um, yeah, that's good. Then I started to use this start panel, but because you can just hit this and then type for whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. It's not that useful. I have everything here, and it goes away, so it's just like that. I think I've turned off that accidental second language. That is an annoying thing that comes with a default install, where if you accidentally hit like shift and comma, it will switch your language to French. But I would like to hide that eng because I'm not switching languages. I don't speak other languages. And so I have that. I have as my setup for the mouse, I've got 700 with stages that I can move between. The lighting is just like a generic white because it doesn't really attract your eye too much. And then I've got the mat where it's set, it's an actual Razer mat that's pretty hard. The soft ones just didn't feel right to me. They felt like there was like not enough friction to make like precise movements. And so there's that. Keyboard Studio Visualizer. So yeah, so in Documents, you have GitHub. League of Legends, I can change this. Because yeah, things like to kind of install themselves in folders that aren't really organized or neat or anything. Like we've got Sega here. So let's just go in and change this. Games, apply, okay. And then refresh. Sega Mega Drives. Unfortunately, you have to do this for every single folder. You can't like, if I were to select both of these, it would only do the first one, which was a little annoying. Visual Studio, I could probably make an image for. So basically, I started doing this in a recording, and then I was like, I'll just do it live, and it'll just honestly be easier. So in GitHub, I have this thing which is Places to Go, which is just a repo for a bunch of images that I'm constantly needing for little things that I keep re-downloading that I figured I should just put in a repo. And then we've got app folder icons, and I've got a PSD that is the Windows folder, a color changer that looks okay. It's because I'm starting with a yellow, it doesn't exactly look right, but all of the images with a guide of like roughly what the size should be, but really a little bit bigger. And I save that as a PNG. It goes into here. I use this website, Ico Converter. There's another one that I've used, but I'm just using the same one as the other one, so that all of the icons are made from the exact same converter, so there's no problem. And I've got 128 and 256. And when I convert, that will make a .ico file. And then I can go to, say I want to change this, profile, customize, change icon, browse, and I can make this a Rise and Fall folder, hit OK, apply. And then when I refresh, it's got an image that makes sense. I tried starting with folders that were just the icon, and it made it look like the folders were apps, which was a little bit confusing. So that's why it's got like the standard folder, and then the icon, because that's a little bit clearer. GitHub, I've got purple so that it just draws my eye a little bit closer. And then, you know, the folders that I'm most likely going to are this branch, which is, you know, the one of three branches for our game that I'll switch between just to save time. And I'll show how to do that at another point. And then like this just links to like resumes and stuff like that. And then sports code with hockey, you know, I'm going in and so putting everything, you know, within a couple clicks, making sure that the icons are big enough that you can see them, and the colors, you know, game dev red, hockey blue, GitHub purple. Just it felt like it should be that. I might fix that later. But yeah, so if I go to documents, can find that easy, then I can find this easy, but I went to the wrong one. So this should have like better naming of like main, whatever. But this at least brings me into, you know, the assets folder. And there was a point where I took all of I reorganized so that these looked like the icons that are in the project, because I have those color coded and with images so that when I'm moving around, it's easier to find. And it's also supposed to be customized pictures, apply. It's supposed to make those by default all, there we go. And then I have this other thing. So see how all the meta files have little tag icons? That's a little thing called types. And types, I guess, set icons for file formats. How did I find you? Is there a just English unknown search? It's a little thing called types. And so if I type in prefab, I can double click this. It's got like name actions, but if you go to icon, and I already have a folder where I've taken the images of some important things in Unity and made PNGs and then icos. Yeah, that's an ico, because they have to be icos, which is a bit annoying. And so if you set that and then you close it and then refresh whatever the thing is, it just saves you time and makes it less overwhelming if you're trying to find something. So with all these being tags, you know, 50% of these files in every single folder do not matter at all. So they don't, I will almost never need to look at meta files, but I do need to know that they're there. So now that's weird that, okay, so that's a .prefab.meta, and that's why it's more visible in the other one, I guess. So I have this for material, prefab. If I go into, I guess it'll be this, assets. Yeah, already I miss how I had all that organized. Editor, scripting. No. This whole thing I'm going to eventually offload into a repo itself, but I need it to be in the Rise and Fall project because it's being referenced in Unity, a lot of this stuff. And so character states, controller buttons, explorer, file types. Yeah. So I have these are the PNGs, and then I had to convert them to icos. So presets, terrains, avatars, assets, animators, animator override, and then C# files. And things like lighting data I also had. I'm not sure what the example was for. Folder icons. So these are set in, I guess I can reset these now. So these are part of a asset that I have in here that is asset stored at unity.com and rainbow hierarchy. So this was about 15 bucks. I own this. Unity has always signed me out for some reason every time I log in if it's a new day. And this lets you set, make your hierarchy a lot more visual. And so it lets you set colors for the background. So if I go rainbow hierarchy background, I can set a color. I can set an icon based on a component, and there's symbols for a lot of the main ones. It's a little clunky using a pop out, like see how I have to go through like 5 things. But you can also, there's some hotkey. What is it? Control, Shift. Oh, I guess this is Alt. And I can click that and that will come out, and then I can choose a custom one. Actually, I should be changing that. So go terrain. And let's see if that actually, yeah. So environment, so that makes it the terrain icon. And it's green, and that makes it a lot easier to go around and look at. Now, I feel like I accidentally dragged something there. Because there's supposed to be character. Yeah, I did make a mistake. So characters being red. Fold out. All of these guys are prefabs off of each other. That's why they're blue. And I've got the color coded to most of them. I've got this other tool called Peak, which is a Unity asset that I really feel should be built in. So right now, if I select anything, it should be showing. I have this bar here in scene, so I can be in scene view the whole time. And I must have accidentally hit a hotkey that turned it off, because usually what you see is all of the components on a little pop down or a pop out. Project settings, peak, whitelist, tabs, blacklist. So it's not here. It is preferences, looted corp peak, human naming, max search results, group inherited members, peak, display scene toolbars, tab titles. Don't need that. Persistent pins was experimental. This is the right one. This is the other thing with 3 branches is that, oh, but it'll have, if this is the right project, yeah, it is, because this has the new grass, or not grass, stands. So, that's really annoying. Usually it works and it shows that, but especially if you're, see, shortcut, maximize shortcut, key shortcut, sticky drag and drop, probe builder radius, probe limit, merge scripts without icons, yeah. So I don't know if it's just I need to, yeah, those aren't real. Those aren't real ones. Like I've got AI grouped into another thing here, sound, managers. This is still like being transitioned from legacy, so it's still not like the best. But it's pretty close. You got your input manager, and then what we have is I've borrowed all the Node-on systems from Game Builder Garage because they do a really good job of visualizing all the things that you can do with scripts. And you basically imagine each script is a little creature inside your computer that handles a set of functions for you. So if I go into this RNF2 assets UI editor, scripting, nodons, I've got nodons for all kinds of different things. And I have one PNG where I mark off which ones I've used, and then another PNG for the little nodon icon I create. And so I've got that, and then just a picture of a script showing that it is a script. It felt weird to not include it. And then you can go ahead and change this. So nodon, and so this is a input nodon, so a button nodon, so we can just show that. So if I were to see that in the space, I would see that actual button nodon. It probably could be a joystick, to be honest, just to keep it consistent, but because this is a script that handles buttons, it's got that. The easiest thing to show is if I open up this character. First off, we've got custom editors for just about every script that I've made, like a super visual, clear thing, so that it's, you don't have to remember what everything does. It tells you what it does. And this is a person nodon because it handles functions for a person. And this mainly takes, you have your rewired controller, which just handles button presses. It's just button and stick input. And it sends those to the player controller, which then sends it to components. This was COSAM system. This is awesome. And it knows what components need to be active and then turns them off when they're done. And it basically solves the problem of us having like a oh man, a 10,000 line script that was doing a million things. They've now been broken down, and you can technically go completely modular and only bring in what you need. So, everything handling size goes into this, and I'm using, picture, and then Odin inspector, which lets you write custom inspectors with info boxes. So anything that you would need to know on these things is written in there, so that it fixes the problem of, one, it gets it out of our head and just puts it where it needs to be so we don't have to remember it. And two, if a new person were to wander around this, I want them to be able to figure out what things do, and it just makes it simpler. So, like for these character sizes, drag in small data, medium data, and large data. These are the three sizes the character can change into. And these aren't made nice because these are newer things. Character events is, honestly, that one I still don't totally understand, but it references certain things. If we go into run, you can go and, you've got your current speed, your ground speed, your in-air speed, your rotation speed, and these get grabbed from a scriptable object. And then diving. So you can make, like if I were to open up this script here. So we try to do this where we write who has written what and when the last date was, because we have some scripts that are 2 years old now and were written for, a game jam and not made for like an actual game. But he's got a system of, what are those, unique classes and references to a couple different things. But these lines, so tooltip, that's not, that's Unity native, but basically you add using Cyrnix.Odin inspector, and you can add a fold out group above everything. The spaces are whatever they are. This lets you override the text that's shown. So you don't have to change the name of the variable, which could create a bunch of problems. You can just change the way that it looks in the editor, which is really nice. And it's basically just everything for for those scripts, and then edit. Oh, and this tool itself is a thing called Script Inspector. That means I don't have to open up Visual Studio, which I really like. It just feels built in. And you can save and then double save, like Control S, S, and it'll compile. And it started because my IntelliSense was broken. And now I just really like it because it feels like I'm just in Unity. I'm not constantly tabbing in and out, and it's really fast for really quick fixes. So if I were to collapse all of these, and if Peak was working, you would highlight the character, and it would have all of his little icons. So at a glance, I'm looking at this, I'm brand new, I don't know anything. Got 3-person node-ons, 2-stick node-ons, 4-button node-ons. This is a, what do they call it, a knockback or a launcher node-on, an effects node-on, a sound node-on, and then the Unity standard, like character controller, rigid body, animator, audio source. So I'm trying to change something with the sticks, it's in here. And it's a component type. I'm trying to change, something with a button for jump. Okay, this is a jumping component, button press, and jumping, and you have, force up, force down, double jump. These ones actually don't have the info boxes on them because I think they got put onto, if I go medium data with a scriptable object, yeah, they're all in here. So size stats. Warning for something that's important. So movement parameters. Movement happens when the player moves the stick. And movement immediately begins. So the player immediately begins moving as soon as the movement. Sorry. You press the stick right. The character starts moving at the ground speed of 18 because he's grounded. If he was in the air, he would be moving a little bit faster. And the rotation speed is 500. And I think raising it didn't make any difference at all. So I think it's just at 500. And then these also have ranges on them. So if I were to open this up, it's character parameters. So this is an editor window, which lets me import that size stat. That might be cool to show too, actually. There's a lot of commented out lines, but basically you have to inherit from Odin Inspector Editor so that you can use, I don't think I actually use anything from it. You have to make it an Odin editor for it to work when you're using Odin. And so this is a character parameters editor, and basically, so put a header image that will be this texture that you put in, then put a label that says this, and then have a space, and then have your regular UI. That's what that is basically saying. So in character parameters, in the script, yeah, so this is where all the info boxes are. It's inheriting from Cyrenix.Inspector. So info box, info box, info box, and then this one is a message type warning. And then that's a fold out group. It's got a title, which looks a little bit better than Unity's header. Info box range 0 to 100, label text ground speed. And then range, movement, in-air speed, and you go down through all of the things. Some of them still have tooltips, but the tooltips I just put as info boxes. I don't necessarily care about there being like a little bit more space because you can put things in fold-out groups anyways. So, I'm not seeing any of these info boxes yet, but diving happens when the player double presses the jump button. Very, very important is that because the jump button obviously could be A, but it could be whatever. The player is moved forward in the direction they are facing by the amount set in max dive distance. This actually, I should probably move those info boxes to each line. And then they're moved forward by the force set and dive force forward, and then the player's moved up or down based on the dive force up value. So basically, when I press A and then A again within a window of, I think, like 0.3 seconds, which is set through Rewired, um, move the character as far as 18 with a force of 4,500 and push him up, because the line of code is there's only up and then it's a negative or a positive value. So move him up -500. So move him down a little bit. And then these are for dive boosted speeds. So if you are once you dive, you run faster until you stop moving. So um, these are set based on the medium size, and those get imported in every time that you change size, so that every character has the same values for right now in scriptable objects. And so same thing with like swings. Swings have a swing collider. You're setting the ranges within, you know, you want to have enough range that you can still use the thing without having to edit it, and you want it to be able to give you a reference of, if I were to go medium data, if I go into large data. Oh, and I guess it remembers. Oh, that's nice. I guess because it's inheriting from the same script. You want, if you were kind of quickly going between them, or if you had like two windows up, to be able to see, on that slider what that difference is. And you can do things like change colors. Odin Inspector is awesome. Um, and I also have Rainbow Hierarchy, which lets you set folders, icons. So they have a bunch of set folder icons. And then I ended up taking them and tweaking them to be more specific. So UI has its own thing, characters has its own thing because it's an important folder, environment, because when you get to a certain project size, you want to stop going from, like in a small project, you have like your scripts folder, your prefabs and whatever. When you start to get bigger and you start to, when things are dependent on other things, you want to put everything in their own folder based on the object, not based on the type. It just became like a huge pain trying to find, every single time I would have to do 6 folder searches to change one thing. And so seeing everything related to the player is in here. His animations are in here. His materials are in here. His models are in here. His prefabs are in here. So if I were to, delete that folder, it would completely delete that thing. And then we have things basically like how many types of things do you have in a scene? You've got characters, you've got objects, you've got environment, and then you've got UI, basically. And then like sound. So anything that is a character, could be a person or like a spider or whatever it is, that goes into characters. Objects is basically anything that could be moving, and environment is more like rocks and houses and stuff like that, just for the sake of breaking that up. So if I go objects, and I think this search is broken for some reason. There's way too many folders in this root, but objects, for some of the important ones, I actually have pictures of them. So like the ball, and then the prefab of the ball bomb, with its scripts that it needs. And then if I go back out to objects, and honestly, I have this second window here where I have 2 project folders that are locked, an animator and an animation. They're both also locked to the character, to P1, which I'll use for testing. That saves me a bunch of time. And then I have this, I have that, and I have the pop-up. If I need to like drag between things, I have the icons set to this size. So yeah, that's how I have that set up, and it makes it really, really easy to get around. And what else? I have these on the character. UI, I've got symbols for those. This is yellow because most of the important stuff is in here. This is also an old version that we've made a much better version of. Camera's got its image, and the way that I like to oh, this is a goal camera, so it's a bad example actually. So the main camera, tagged as main camera, has its script, which is the multiple target camera, and it is right now set to P1. Oh yeah, I was changing that. It's supposed to be targeting the ball, and it will keep the ball in the frame with an offset and a smooth time and a min zoom and a max zoom. This doesn't do anything. I'm pretty sure I can take that out. And if there is no ball, it goes back to this position. I like to put scripts first and then the related thing. This basically does nothing. That's deactivate animator. This is really old. Stress receiver. And I like to put, if I don't have an image, I like to put like a double info box space and then everything else. And this is made by just making like a blank string. And that's what gives it the shake. Yeah, Peak also makes these little snapshots for you, which sometimes are helpful, and sometimes if the object, like characters, just has like too many things on it, you don't even really see. But that helps out a little bit. So I have those, and these have, you can change what scripts look like. So if I wanted bunker damage, node on. I guess this is technically a damager script, which is a launcher node on L. So this one. So bunker damage. I mean, technically, like what it also forces you to think about what the script is and making it super simple. So this is bunker damage, which is the script that sits on each of the bunkers and waits for the goal to be changed. And when the goal is changed, it calls a function that checks what the score is and updates the damage on the bunker based on that score. And it's not in an update loop. It's in a function that gets passed from the other one so that we're cutting down on update loops. And this was just a tool I was working on, which is checking. It was meant to have like a little shine or glow happen when you are level with the ball to just make it a little easier to check when it's a good time to hit it. But there's just a problem with it parenting. So you can't use tag checks. Because the ball is already tagged as ball, you can't have an object inside of it tagged as level indicator. So you would have to make a separate object that would be looking for the ball, and then following the ball, and then turning on an object when a player is within that collider range. So it needs a little bit more work. I was hoping it would be something like simple that I could just go in and do, but as you get like 2 years into a game, it sometimes is and sometimes isn't. These are states in our animator that let us. What do we use one on? I don't think it's on a jump state. Yeah. So it's basically just a script that. Oh, this is completely empty. Never mind. It's not this one. It's with diving. I'm pretty sure it's with diving. And so it's a script that just goes through a loop and makes sure that it's a script made to, I'm kind of all over the place with this, but I started with me wanting to explain little things that I was doing with Windows, but because I've had to tell like probably 5 or 6 people how the project is set up, now that's what this is. And maybe I'll do like another one. Because yeah, if I just have a video, either they watch it or I can go back to it. But this was a fix for making sure that it goes to the proper state. It waits until the actual animation is done playing and then goes back, because animator loops are on a different loop than update loops and fixed update loops, and so the timing can be a little bit off. And that was all CoSam figured that out. I was trying to show things with the setup, and that was what this originally was. So I've got yeah, I've kind of gone over that in the basic setup of things. So I've got these windows I'm still trying to change over. This does not let you customize. If I don't want to give security to it. Did I do desktop.ini? I did. If I open this, it is using users.ico. So it should look different. It may be, it also said in this, oh, damn it, history. It says you're supposed to log off then log in again. If I were to restart, I'll save that. Close types. Is there anything else worth showing for stuff that I changed over to make it feel like Mac? Don't need you open. I can restart all of this. So and now audio is back because it's all handled through voice meter, which allows me to push audio to this and then this. So let's see if that actually fixed it. See, users windows did not change. I've got the image for it. Battle state, program data, temp, Wacom, logs. But users is better. I'm gonna go ahead and make this large icons. David, we can, if it'll let me change this. Just users, I could make something custom for that. Yeah, so that works. And then large icons. You know, these are good. Contacts, documents, downloads. I don't know why I want it to always make it this view. I almost never want to see stuff in a list. Properties. Can I set options? Open Explorer to quick access. This PC. Show hidden folders. Use index when searching. No, I do want index. If I set users, customize, documents, apply, okay. Refresh. Didn't remember. Details pane. No, preview pane. would it have? Change folder and search options. No, this opens the same thing. So, it still doesn't remember. Properties, pictures, apply, okay. David, yep. Documents, GitHub. Perfect. I think it might just be like a permissions thing. So, Windows, I also want to do this for Windows apps, because Windows apps is Xbox, games, and sometimes you have problems with the it not having the right permissions. Yeah, so this was the one where it says that it's encrypted. What if I detail security? What if I allow me to have local service? I mean, I think that means that it's allowed. Administrator, let's allow. So, because I don't want to turn on administrator or users for everything, just because that may screw up the way that, like, there may be something with Windows. It's like not technically not a good idea. APX file cannot be, let's see, the APPX file cannot be accessed because it's not encrypted as expected. So this is from another thing. What if I save? No. No. Now these actually have like a locked thing on it, and I guess that's where Halo is actually stored. Game. Yeah, I also ran into the problem of none of my Windows apps launching properly. But yeah, we're gonna clean this up. Right, games, recovery. I may make like temp. But the goal is just to make navigating this a little bit more friendly. Gear icon. Or how would we want to break this up? So we have Windows, which is obviously Windows icon, recovery, program data, which is like cache. What cache icon? Cache is basically like temporary folders. So it's the same as library files being made. So it's a bunch of little files that are storing information. I think for the meantime, I'll give it a gear, and then I might get more specific with it. Let's use the Mac one. This one, gear. And I may change all the folders to blue at some point. Gear. Copy that, paste it in, remove the fake transparent background, resize it just a little bit bigger than that area, and I'm using gray as a, okay, that's good for transparency, and then we'll save this as system, oh no, system.png, system, we're going to convert Ico. Yeah, no, this is the other one. Is it this one? No. Did I close that? Okay, icoconverter.com. And we're gonna go system, bum bum, convert. Call it system. And now we've got an icon. Let's see if program data, I can change that to system. Okay, apply, okay, refresh. Okay, that worked. Recovery. Just to make the differentiation that these are. Okay, so recovery is going to give me a bit of a problem. And it hasn't made a desktop file. So we're going to go test folder. Let's duplicate. Nope. Also, I've got the wrong lighting on. Keyboard lighting. Normal blue. Oh, this is another thing that I have that I forgot to mention. Auto hotkey. So this is just I guess it's showing a log of button presses, but there is there's a script that is literally just Mac, I call it Mac font, that is in some folder that is run on startup. So on startup, this is where you want to change startup settings, not in that gear thing, because this is actually what it is, and you want to go status enabled. So I've got disabled a bunch of things that I don't need to be launched at startup, and including smooth scroll. So Mac font, open file location. Yeah, so in the startup menu, there's just a little script called Mac font that launches, and that just switches Alt and Control so that you can use your thumb for, so instead of doing this and pressing keys, you've got your thumb and you're not reaching as far over, and it's just a lot more comfortable. And it's on Mac, obviously, you're using commands, so it just saves a lot of time, and you don't have to do Control Z where you're using your pinky, you're using your thumb and you're reaching over. I like that a lot better. So you've got recovery. So I'll just go new folder. The name doesn't matter, but we'll just call it recovery. And I'll have a folder of all of these so that I can grab the ini files. So system, okay, apply, okay. It's made this little desktop file that just says, and I guess I can change, well, you know what, I won't worry about it now. So it's referencing that folder, which I'm not going to be changing at the string 0. So I'm going to copy this and paste it into there. And yep, that worked for that. So now recovery is another thing. Temp, which is completely empty. Customize, change, browse. System, okay, apply. Honestly, I could probably just paste the ini files and it would be faster for each. That's probably a better way to do it. So you got 1, 2, 3 folders that don't matter, a bunch of stuff that's hidden that doesn't matter. Windows, still trying to change. I guess that's the actual Explorer exe, okay. Desktop, yeah, so this is there. So let's see, change Windows folder icon. This is for default icons. Icons. Apply to folders. So maybe that will change it. Options, change folder. Apply. Yes. Okay. Because yeah, for me, this is always easier, and if I need to make it a list, I'll make it a list. But it just uses up the right amount of screen space. This may be something in the registry that I have to edit. how to change the Windows folder icon. This PC. Those I don't need to change. Although that's kind of cool, to be honest. So we change this PC to actually look like what it looks like. And then this could be an actual picture of the drives that are in it, which would actually be kind of cool. Properties. So let's see, change, what is this, local Windows folder icon. Does this, no, it still thinks that I'm just trying to change anyone. I'm going to change local disk. In the meantime, I can clean up some of this stuff. Honkai Impact, I just straight up don't need. Unity, I do have an icon for. Okay, apply, okay. Refresh, doesn't want to let me do that. So let's do the fix. Where I go desktop. Now let's rename that. Folder over icons. And we'll go new folder Unity. And we'll change that icon to Unity. Okay, okay, okay. And then I should be copying this into here. Yes. Refresh. What if I close out? Close this. Reopen it. So program files, Unity. So is this a security thing? Administrator. Modify. Edit. So let's make it so me have full control of that. And what we'll use that as a test. Because if it works for that, that may also be the problem with Windows, is that it's not. Can you open Explorer, File Explorer, and then run as admin? Properties. No. File Explorer. It would be nice to change that to the Finder. Manage. What does this open? Just computer management. Device manager. Oh, so that's where that comes from. Oh, another useful thing. I guess I'll go through everything that's installed. 7-zip, good for zipped files. AutoHotkey, Chrome apps, Flowbro. This is really good for if you're showing people. Let me press that a bunch so I can see my controller input as I'm playing the game, and other people who are watching me can see it, which is really nice. So let's refresh. It has that desktop.ini. Browse. Okay, apply. And that worked. Okay, so it's a permissions problem. So now, if I'm looking for that, I can find that easily. I'm going to paste this in here. Let's continue that. It's not going to let me customize now. No, that's not what I want. And would it be easier to put these in that shell.dll? Just open that in Notepad. Windows/system32 shell. So I guess these are where the actual icons are. And I wonder if changing those would change the reference. Shell. Should be close. Oh, shit, I didn't want to hit that. Snipping tool, snooze. SP, maybe missed it. H, SH. Shell style, shell 32, DLL. Open with. Let's see what it looks like if I open that in Visual Studio. It's got a bunch of bitmaps. If I open that up, that's that image. Align. Oh, I think I closed the thing I needed. Cursor, okay. Icon. So I don't need that, don't need that. I'm gonna pin that. And they're all just numbered in a list. Library, e-file. Oh, these are really old. Okay. And these are actually PNGs. Wow. Okay. So insert icon. I paste this a bitmap. That's not what I want. Properties. What do we see here? Nope. Oh, where is, don't save. What if I try opening this with Resource Hacker, which is another tool I got. So this was a free thing that lets me open up Unity, and literally all that it's for is so that when I launch Unity, I actually see a picture that looks like Unity instead of that weird gradient that it shows. So it's a lot more fun. And when you open that several times a day, it starts to bug you. Okay, so Resource Hacker, let's go open. Maybe I haven't saved it. So system32, so local disk, Windows, system32, and then shell 32. If I open that up, what do we have? Type-lib, version info, manifest. It'll usually show you images. Oh, you know what? You have to run it as an admin. Wait, that's not Resource Hacker. And then open shell 32. Yeah, now they open, except those don't. These don't just let you see in the binary view. Okay, so this doesn't work, but there's potentially a way to do it in Visual Studio by opening shell 32 in there, where I could potentially just add a bunch of icons, and then I wouldn't need to be referencing a bunch of extra things, and it may also get around it may be wondering why I'm trying to reference something and for security not letting me. So for security, I wish you could resize this. Users. Now let's see if just allowing modify. Okay, okay. To Unity Hub lets me do it. It has that desktop file. Refresh, so that didn't do it. Customize, change icon, browse. Unity, okay, apply, okay. Okay, so it's something with administrator. Access, security. So the user needs to have access, full control. Apply, okay. Just looking at this, security. This has everything. Did I not just change that? Users, full control, apply, okay. Okay. Refresh. It's not doing the big long. Okay, so that worked. Oh, I gotta want to become famous by followers and viewers on big follows. I'm okay, thanks. Okay, Unity, Unity Hub. Those are now easy to find. What else do we have that's important here? Epic Games, customize. I've got this to start. That's not gonna let me. So we're gonna go security, users, edit, full control. I am the only user and this is a PC, so I'm not very worried about that. Browse. It would also save me a step. Oh no, I don't want Unity. I want games. Okay, apply. Okay. Fresh still didn't work. So it may not be generating the desktop file. So games, customize, change icon, games. Okay, okay. And then we'll take this desktop and put it in there. And it started to change because it's showing an empty folder. Users. That's why does it full control apply? Okay, okay. Refresh desktop. I mean, maybe it's just taking time to update whatever it, there we go. Epic Games, Electronic Arts, EA Games. These are all game-related things. Okay, apply. It's gonna be the same thing. And yeah, I don't want to just give. Actually, do I even care? Security, users, edit. I don't think it will even let me change that for program files. Unless I go advanced. This I still don't really understand. Owner trusted installer. Users read and execute, change permissions. View, show advanced permissions. Those are all grayed out. This I don't, so the owner, should I be changing the owner to users? Potentially. So that would make this easier. So get this. Yeah, this is going to make my life easier getting through these. So we're going to go security, edit, and so administrators and users are going to have full access to that. Games, we're going to put the desktop ini in there. Okay, apply OK. And that worked. That was a little bit faster. I have Genshin Impact on here. It's supposed to, it looks like I have 2 copies of it, because I'm supposed to be running Genshin off of there. So let's see if I can do this quicker this time. Browse, games, okay, apply, security, users, edit, allow, okay, okay, okay. Refresh. Put that little desktop ini in there. Refresh, nope. Customize, change, browse. Games, okay, apply, okay. Did not work. So something with system, administrators, users, that did not save. Even though I've set it here, apply. Okay, okay. And that works. So I think there's like a half-second delay is what the problem is. So we got 1, 2, 3 EA games, which is completely empty for some reason. Let's just delete that, because it'll most likely just make one if it needs it. Git, which is slightly different from GitHub, Oculus, OBS, NVIDIA. I don't want to make icons for all these, but it will be worth it if I do it. What else do we have in program files? Anti-cheat, Epic Games, Origin, Razer, Ubisoft, NVIDIA. Let's just see. If I go users, edit, full control, apply. And then if I paste that desktop ini, the icon has changed. Games, okay, apply, okay. Well, actually, before I do that again, let's go into System, Administrators. It's still not changed that. Users. So read and execute is still grayed out. Trusted installer. If I add locations, check names. It's where you like find it and you find the I'm trying to find all users. I still don't totally understand this part of it. Users, so now, okay, now those are not grayed out. I can apply that. And go, okay. And if I reopen it, users is checked. So I should be able to now. Games, okay, apply, and good. So I don't know, there's some delay. Epic Games, Google. Steam, that is something I have an icon for, and that is worth being aware that it is there. So, edit. Oh, it already does have access, okay. Oops. Okay, so that was already there, so that's good, because you can find, the important one is it's Steam apps, and then common, so I'm going to take this, just so that it's easier to find. Okay, apply, okay, refresh. And then common, I'm also going to put that on just so it's easier to find. Apply, okay, refresh, and then you see all of the games there. And at least with these, you're getting a picture of that. So it's a little easier. Not everything is set up that way for some reason. And because I'll be changing those, there's not a ton of point. But yeah, that's how you get to the common folder. Yeah, I think it's just because it's Windows that it's locking me out of doing this. Security, users, edit. Users, yeah, I just straight up can't. System. Also, I should have Discord open just in case. But I'm trying to do like morning where I just work on something. If I have Discord open, it's easy to get distracted. Users, so none of these are available. Advanced. Change permissions. So its owner should that's the thing. I don't want to give broad access to that folder. So what might be better to try and change is start with Windows apps. Also, how much do I have like duplicates of everything in here? Because that's probably not needed. Yeah, even this E is a bit of a mess. If I can change this, even though it's the only thing, it's just a little bit better. Common. Apply, refresh, and then you've got the games that are installed here. Steam apps. There's probably another folder I could do this. So Steam pipe. Let's change that icon. Oh, okay. So why is that broken? Okay, I did do that for, because basically I go into Dropbox, go to the SDK, the tools, the content builder, the content, and then this is the folder where builds are. So that works okay. Because I have to make games for PC. I have to be sure, like, yeah. So, it's the same reason why I was like, can you make stuff on? If I could use Linux, like, I don't know, I have to use Unity. It's just, right now we're building for Steam, and if it's on another machine, it's, there's, oh, well, that's good. Maybe I could. Maybe I could. I don't even know anybody. I'm sure I know somebody, but yeah. It's just like, if, so we use Rewired for the input system, and we're using achievements and stuff like that. I just, if it's on PC, I'm running it on the machine. You know what I mean? There were so many problems, like even Ricardo, who was using a Mac, had to do a bunch of workarounds to get the controller input to work properly. So, like, I guess if I understood, yeah, I guess if I understood what those differences were, I could do that. And maybe I could have it on another, like, another partition of, like, a drive or something. But yeah, I'm basically just going through. This is, now well, let me do it on this one here. This is program files. So what did I use program files for? I think I put gear. Apply, okay. No, it's not gonna let me. Oh no, that's the app icon. Yeah, and we have rewired because it's couch co-op and it handles a lot of the input. So if I open this up, rewired's really, really good. And technically there could be 10 people playing or 12 people, and rewired's handling all of that stuff for input. And it's just little small things that, yeah, start to slow you down. Like I have this changed because that bugged me a lot. You know, the basic, when you're looking for files, where's GitHub? GitHub's here. This one's here. Then this, then this. You know, I have this as the thing here, which I have as 2 just because, yeah, like over like probably 6 months of a year, I could probably move. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention on when I have Unity opened up again. Oh yeah, I probably have a lot of videos I can clear out. Steam library, Steam apps, there's nothing in there. Properties, customize, just spending an hour or 2. Garuda. Linux. That's awesome. I'll definitely look at that. Yeah, it's just annoying things with Windows, and I think maybe Windows 11 fixes stuff, but it also, yeah, it also, there could be like a couple broken things. Yeah, there could be a couple broken things, and if everybody else is still in Windows 10, I maybe in a couple months I'll move to it. So let's go change this. Okay, apply, refresh. That let me change it. Got a recovery folder. Okay, apply, refresh. That doesn't have the rights. Program data, recovery, program files, Wacom, Windows. It's just Windows that I want to be able to change, and I think it's because, wait, read only. Maybe if I change that temporarily. Like I said, I don't know enough about what the Windows folder is doing that I don't want to make any problems for programmers. Okay, so in this scene, was it managers? Rainbow hierarchy. So this is the actual file, and it loads really slow because there's a lot, but this is actually like the file that has all the definitions for the different things, and the right way to do it is not to use it based on objects, is to use it based on names. So anytime that I use something called handle slider area, it will use that icon, so that I could just import this into another scene and it would follow all of those rules. So what are all these things? Diagnostics, boot, branding, cursors. There's just a file for cursors. Fonts, yeah, that takes me to this. Microsoft.net. Speech system. That's games. I've got it under recovery. Continue. It's another folder that I don't want to be changing the control of, though. And I don't think it'll actually let me. And I think it's because it's made it read-only, and then only installer packages can modify stuff on here. If I were to change this, administrator, modify, trusted installer. I was going on this. Let's see, recovery, customize. That's a system folder that's worth. Okay, so that worked. System volume information. So it's just not accessible. Temp. Browse. Intel Optane data, program data. Yeah, I should technically have used an icon that had pictures in it, but I'll have to go back and do that. Games, this was the backup of the folder icons that I guess was still left over. I also haven't completely wiped this drive, I've just deleted like the old users, I think. Or is this all still in there? Yeah, I think it is. I just got rid of the big stuff. Because this was originally my C drive on my first version, or my first model on my computer, OneDrive temp. Could you show, if they're temporary files, could you show like a vanish icon? Of them like poof. Temporary icon. With like a little clock. Solid angle. What is this? I have no idea what that is. Temp. Logs. So file log icon. So what is a log? A log is like just like a printout sheet of things happening. So it's kind of like a little typewriter typing a bunch of things. Typewriter icon. Or like printer icon. I'm not sure. Yeah, Windows apps. What did I do for this? Restricted. I gave total control to me. It doesn't let me edit it. But I have total control. Advanced. Owner. What if I change this to... Well, actually, let me just see if I can change this now. Okay. Refresh. Oh yeah. But let's try this again. Xbox. It'll let me, yeah, it'll let me delete that and put that in. It still hasn't changed, but Wi-Fi, browse, Xbox, okay. Something you go locations, advanced, find now. Administrators, let's try that. Apply. Okay. So any administrator on here should be able to access Windows apps. And if that's right, then I would see it here, which it didn't do. Any users, trusted installers, good. That yeah, hopefully I don't break a bunch of things, but at least if I'm recording it, I can go back. So this has full control, administrators. Oh, this is not grayed out, which is nice. Failed to enumerate objects in the container. Okay. Okay. Then I will not save my changes. And this only has list folder contents. But this will actually be good for using that Xbox app. Advanced. So administrators does have control. Administrator, read and execute. Users, read and execute. Edit, full control. Okay, apply. Windows apps deleted. So administrator does have that, so I should be able to change it now. Now what is this deleted? So click continue to permanently get access. Advanced, continue. View. There's a little thing, file ownership, personal. Try again. So this one is down again. I guess because it didn't let me last time. But here it says administrators does have control, and this has full control. So I guess there's an override in this deleted folder. Advanced, continue. Owner, I guess I gotta change. Read and execute, read and execute. System has full control. Administrators do not. So I guess if I change the owner of it to administrators, but I guess to be more specific, we'll go administrator. Okay, apply. Okay. I am an administrator though. Enable to display current owner. If I apply that, okay, close, continue, okay. So, security, just installer users, administrators, administrator. It's showing me an X here, and then it's showing me that it's fine here. So any administrator. If I change this, advanced, fine now. Okay. On subcontainers. Okay, okay. Administrator does, I do. Still gives me the APPX. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. All this is readable. Let me see if I paste that. There's not enough space? Oh, wow. Interesting. So it's a dot something. Let's go change Windows apps folder icon. Creating editing files. Heavily protected folders. Needs to save the file, then replace the original with the edited version. Let's see if I can still launch Back 4 Blood. Oh, I think I ran it as administrator. Okay. So I didn't break anything, which is good. Okay, still working. Okay. So that has like a lot of command. Honestly, this may be even easier. Because I can view that. That is the SDK. Do I want a nice pretty icon for that? I could just take the switch icon. Nintendo. That's not it. Do I have two windows open? There we go. Convert. Nintendo. Now maybe those should be transparent. That's kind of weird. Nintendo. Yes. So it didn't replace it. GitHub, place to go, app folder icons. Yeah, the PNG's fine, it just, oh. Nintendo. Yep. Or was this the other thing that it wouldn't replace it properly, and I need to call it Nintendo 2? These TMP? Are these just screenshots that got saved? And a bunch of EULAs. WP system. App data, local, packages. Oh yeah, I think this is where the games are actually stored. Local cache, local state, temp state. I mean, some of these haven't been run. And if that folder is actually icons, Xbox, desktop, let's see if I can put that there. It's recognized it. File ownership, personal. Ownership, personal, try again. Yeah, it started to. Let's see if that's changed anything in here. Can I at least choose file like this and apply OK? Refresh. That's better. So if there was a picture of it, that might be the workaround for right now. Where this is, yep, that's the PNG. Refresh. Choose file, Xbox. It's not encrypted as expected, so it's the same thing. The image is there. Open. We can't open this file. Security. Edit. See if there's any YouTube videos on this. Xbox, Game Pass, PC, install, folder, problems.
What's up, my name is TechNobo here for Troubleshoot, and in today's video it'll stop downloading and give me an error. So I'd rather do that. Download mode, press delete. So let's try something a bit different. Holding down start, pressing R, and then typing in regedit to bring up the registry editor will bring us over here. Let's expand HKey local machine, then software, and we'll be scrolling down to policies, expanding, Microsoft, expanding, look for Windows, expand, and then we'll find delivery optimization. Click on that, and we'll see do download mode and whatever it's set to. So we'll select do download mode, press delete, and then enter. Then I'll close out of registry editor and restart my PC. Let's see if that fixed it. So opening up the store once again and restarting the download. Let's see what happens now. And there we have it. Things seem to be working as expected. It's downloading a 1 GB file, but I don't think that's quite it. Microsoft Flight Simulator is an incredibly big game, so let's wait for this to finish and see where we go. And there we go, apparently it's installed. Let's see if we can launch it. And there we go, it seems like it's working as expected. I'll choose a place to install the packages, checking for updates.
You can actually double click and install it right away. You don't actually need to use PowerShell. It can be using PowerShell. So actually APPX files can be installed just by double clicking the file, especially if you're using latest version of Windows. So now here you can see that .appx file of this ShareX. You can actually double click and install it right away. You don't actually need to use PowerShell. However, in case you want to use PowerShell for APPX, or maybe sometimes you want to try this
It really wants
for
me to
some
watch
odd
this video
reason you
again.
want to use PowerShell, right? Whatever, maybe EAPPX or APPX. If it's an EAPPX file, you can actually double click. In that case, you will have to use PowerShell. Maybe in the near future, Microsoft may add this feature. Anyway, so just what you needed to do is just right click on the start menu and click this Windows PowerShell, then as an admin, and you have this PowerShell here. So here you can see that it's better to keep this file in the C drive so you don't get any error, and also make sure, you know, if you keep it in a folder, just name
How Xbox Game Pass works on PC. Oh wow. I guess I could have a symbol for software. Common files. We got Adobe, Signer, Microsoft Shared, Oculus. Just gonna go to the washroom. Meantime, let's put this portable heater on until I call a plumber and get the heating fixed. So this will be nice. So in C program files, we've got OBS, Parsec, Office, MacType, GHub. Oh yeah. Open file location, properties, security. Let's just give me full access. Okay. Refresh. GHub. This Logitech GHub. This just never launches. Logitech GHub. So Logitech GHub doesn't launch. Data device driver. Oh, this is another driver easy. Where is it? I was going through here. FileZilla for websites, Genshin. Now where? File location. Because I don't need Genshin on the C drive. Apparently I have that installed. Backup Studio Paint, Discord, Dropbox, EA, Git with the command bash, Genshin, GitHub, Gazo, Honkai. Yeah, that's already gone. Oculus, OBS, NVIDIA, Visual Studio Code, and 2019, MacType, Logitech GHub. There's no right click for that. Xbox. What's that? My Wacom tablet I need to uninstall and reinstall. Probably good for a break though, to be honest. Oh, tree size, this is really, really good. I clicked the wrong one because you need to do it as administrator. Tree size. Run this as an administrator. And then choose your C drive. This is Macs have this. They have a version of this built in. So this will show me what the size of things are. And so on the C drive, obviously David's big and Documents is big because GitHub is in it because I have 3 branches. So that I'm fine with. Then in program files, I have Steam, Steam Apps, Common. Destiny 2 is on C drive. It's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be on D drive. What the hell, man? Or E drive. Alright, let's update it. And then properties. Yeah, it's on the C drive, which I want the C drive to be open. So that, like, that's okay, but I'd like it to be less than that. So on E, can I open up another tree size administrator and have it do, yeah, I can. And I'm gonna select my E drive, boom, boom. So C, E, yeah, so Halo Master Chief Collection, which doesn't let me choose the ones that I want. It makes me install the whole thing. Users, me, OneDrive, Documents, GitHub, Steam, Steam Apps, Common. Oh yeah, because Phantasy Star Online, Bayonetta, Metal Gear Solid Test App. That's fine for that to be there. So that and Apex are the big ones. For users whose downloads don't need those. Unreal projects don't necessarily need that. Bioshock HD. Just delete it. I think I was trying to get another trial or something, and it didn't work. Yeah, this will run faster if it goes onto the other drive. C and E. Windows icons. Desktop icons. Can I change this one? General disk cleanup, tools, hardware sharing, quota, and security. Personalization. Taskbar, start. Oh yeah, I have the taskbar automatically hide. Start, I have more tiles on start and the full screen start. Themes, what is it? Desktop icons, settings. Okay. This PC. Control panel. What happens if I turn that on? Control panel. Oh, that means show it on the desktop. Get rid of those. Oh yeah, I need to get an axe board on here for tonight. Resident Evil 7, Blood Hunt, Phasmo. Yeah, I've got a lot of videos, I've got a lot of Dropbox, a lot of app data, a lot of downloads. So that's just a bunch of files. Reference, what's this? Open. These are all online, so I can technically get rid of those. Because I put those on a game temp resource. Videos. Yeah, and these are also on Discord. But that's not going to save that much. GitHub. Yeah, I think I need to take a break. I started at like 7:30. Yeah. I'm going to jump on a bit later. My brain's starting to get a little fried. But good progress. Went over a bunch of little things. Now I can go desktop, GitHub, Resident Fall 2, Game Jam. I can update these later. I don't... It might be worth doing, just making assets, UI, and then editor, because I go to that a lot. Let's push those changes. Folder icons. I'll go ahead and push that. And yeah, I think I'll take a break. Thanks for watching. I'll get this figured out. It's still not that much. Program files. I've got Genshin on this one. Overcooked 2 I don't really need installed. And yeah, if I make more of those key folders easier to find, doing stuff like this becomes easier. So it's just worth the, like, I don't know, 2-3 hours of a day. Alright. I'll probably be on later.